Welcome, everyone. My name is Stephen Faber with Related Beal. Thank you all for coming. Bruce Beal of Related Beal would like to say a few words to start off.
So thank you for coming. Mr. Mayor, thank you especially for coming. I wanted to reminisce a little bit. 40 years ago, our company bought two parcels. Sadly, they weren't in Boston. One was in East Cambridge. We bought 10 acres of land, and they were garages. And little did we know that the garages were tenanted by scientists. I think we knew that. And instead of, they had gone from their basements to these garages, and that was the beginning of life science in the Boston area. Shortly thereafter, we bought something that I passed every day on my way to work from Lincoln, and it was something called the Ledgemont Labs. And I remember Bill McCall saying to me, "What are you going to do with that?" And I said, "We're going to build life science and rent it to life science." And a very good friend of ours, Ori Friedman, had started a company, and lo and behold, Ledgemont turned into one of the first newer multi-science building. 40 years, it's a long time, but I'm very pleased that we were able to do a project like this in Boston. I think because of John Kavanaugh, Steve Faber, the mayor, we're here today. And for me, at the age of 81, looking out and seeing all of you, my son Bruce, Kim, Steve Faber, it's very important to me that Related Beal be able to continue a legacy in life science in the city of Boston. We had a hard time selling Jeff Blau that life science was a good thing to do. He said, "Well, where's the balance sheet?" I said, "Let me tell you, if the companies aren't burning money, they're never going to be successful." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "If their balance sheet is healthy, that means the product is not going to be good." So we're here today because of the city, John Kavanaugh, Steve Faber, and others that have worked on this. It's going to be a great project, and I'm very pleased to still be here to see it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Your legacy will live on for a long time. Well, thank you for helping us celebrate what we think is an important next step in the evolution of the Raymond Flynn Marine Park. A special welcome first to our distinguished guests, Mayor Flynn, Director Golden, Councilman-elect Mayor Flynn, Mayor Walsh, pardon me.
Different era.
Okay, great joke, bad timing. Councilman-elect Flynn, State Representative Collins, Tom Henderson from East Boston Savings Bank, and also representatives of our design team, HDR, BR+A, McNamara Salvia, and our co-construction manager, Consigli. Thank you all for being here. You know, it was the summer of 2014 when I read in the BPDA newsletter that Kavanaugh Advisory had received approval to develop 360,000 square feet of R&D space at 6 Tide Street. I was intrigued, contacted John, we met, and immediately we shared a common vision for the opportunity. Research and development on the South Boston Waterfront, juxtaposed against a backdrop of important, vibrant, ongoing heavy industry. That would create a truly inspiring and motivational work environment. researchers and iron workers, shipping companies and biotech firms working harmoniously side by side. They're not so different. They're both driving the future of our economy with their skill and their sacrifice they make of their time. It was this shared vision that allowed us to develop the partnership we have today. We would not be here if it not was for the leadership and vision of John Kavanaugh and the hard work and dedication of his team, led by Tom Miller and Eric Gervais. I thank you, Tom, John, Eric. Finally, I have another person here to thank, a person who has been incredibly supportive over a long haul, a person who believed in the project from the outset and was able to articulate that belief to our parent company in New York, resulting in a substantial financial commitment, which will allow us the opportunity to demonstrate that this industry at this location in this project can be transformative. That person is Kim Sherman, president of Related Beal, a person whom I'm proud to call my boss, and pleased to introduce to you as our next speaker. Kim?
Partner. Thank you, Steve, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out today to celebrate the groundbreaking of Innovation Square, the next chapter in Boston's life science sector. Innovation Square will offer something new and rare in Boston, a brand new, dedicated life sciences and lab building. It will continue the flow of permanent jobs, union construction jobs, and talent into the Raymond Flynn Marine Park from one of the most important sectors in the Commonwealth and one that we are very proud of, life sciences. This day would not be possible without the contributions of our city and state leadership. Thank you, Mayor Walsh, for your efforts to foster innovation in Boston and to lead so many creative minds to the Boston economy. Thank you to Brian Golden and the EDIC for outlining a vision and implementing a plan that has brought this marine park and its biotech industry to life. And thank you to Governor Baker, Secretary Ash, and Travis McCready at the Massachusetts Life Science Center, who have continued to promote this neighborhood as a growing center for breakthrough research. As evidence of the Eastern Seaport's surging reputation for life sciences advancement, we are thrilled to welcome Massachusetts Innovation Labs to Innovation Square to kick off our tenancy. Mass Innovation Labs has helped to accelerate countless thriving companies in the biotech space, and we look forward to seeing the talent that they will nurture and bring to this industry and to this building. I am very proud to stand here as with Related Beal, having Related Beal as one of the earliest developers of life sciences lab space, beginning with Bruce Sr. and with Robert Beal. And Bruce, we were really happy that you spoke today because you and your brother are truly the pioneers of life sciences real estate. But it goes beyond the real estate itself. Bruce and Robert saw a need for real estate to foster these highly specialized companies and sought to construct the buildings that would allow them to do so and the campuses that would allow them to do so. And we get to continue that here today at Innovation Square. They sought to construct buildings and campuses that foster innovation, technology, and jobs, starting in the 70s. These pillars are evident today as we stand here at this groundbreaking, starting a new life sciences building and keeping jobs in Boston. We are proud to be building in this important sector, continuing Bruce and Robert's legacy. And one thing that I just want to reiterate, as I've stated before to many of you, is these buildings and these collaborations are not possible without the partnership between our private companies and the city and the Commonwealth. I think I've said this before, but it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to do it. It's another thing to bring people to jobs and bring construction into the ground and out of the ground to create jobs, places, and long-term buildings and tenants and locations. And that is not possible without the collaboration between the city and state. And like I said, it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to do it. And we feel very fortunate that every day we are able to collaborate with our partners, the city and the state. So I see lots of people from the BPDA and from the city here today and from the Commonwealth, and I want to say thank you to everybody because you're the reason that we can get these great buildings out of the ground, so thank you. And now I would like to welcome Brian Golden, Director of the BPDA.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you to your team at Related Beal. Thanks to Steve and Bruce Beal, and in a special way, I want to thank John Kavanaugh and Kavanaugh Advisory. We began this conversation about Innovation Square, John and I, about 6 plus years ago. It was one of the first substantive projects I was engaged in a different capacity at the agency, and it reminds me that when it comes to complicated undertakings in life generally, perseverance might be the most important word in the English language, and John Kavanaugh and his team demonstrate perseverance. It's not just about luck. Luck plays a role, skill plays a role, vision plays a role, but perseverance through thick and thin, through the trials and tribulations of a really difficult economy when nothing was being built in this city. John started the conversation, conceived of what could be here, and I just want to salute you for teaching us that lesson once again. It's about perseverance. So I want to shout out to my team, my colleagues at the Boston Planning and Development Agency who've been sharing that journey with John Kavanaugh and the folks at Related Beal for the past several years. They've done an extraordinary job making sure that something really good is occurring at this parcel, and really in the park as a whole. It's a real thrill to be able once again to acknowledge City Councilor-elect Ed Flynn, welcoming him to the park that bears his dad's name. We look forward to that happening repeatedly in the coming years. So thank you, Councilor-elect Flynn. So, as has been alluded to, this place has a really special history. The Marine Industrial Park has been around for about 100 years. It was, in fact, an arsenal of democracy. Sailors left from these ports headed toward Europe during World War II to keep the world safe, to free the world from tyranny. Soldiers and sailors worked here. They slept here. Equipment was manufactured and stored and transported here. This played a really important role in the life of Boston, but really in the life of the nation at large. And it's important to keep that in mind because as we left a wartime footing and moved toward more traditional marine industrial businesses here, they began to form the backbone of some really significant blue-collar manufacturing industrial jobs for decades. And that story continues to evolve. So not only do we have the traditional marine industrial, it's being supplemented, not displaced, supplemented and complemented by the businesses and the industries of the 21st century, R&D in the green tech world, in the life sciences world. This place continues to evolve into something still special but different, and we're so grateful that we can be here today and salute the coming Innovation Square and my labs. So with that, it's a tremendous pleasure for me to introduce the Mayor of Boston, who has insisted for the past 4 years that we stay focused on developing this park and making it an engine not just for the park in the immediate ecosystem to benefit those who are here, but to benefit the city as a whole and really the nation, because the work that is done here, the innovative 21st century creative work that is done here, bears fruit for the nation as a whole, not just the metropolitan region and not just the city of Boston. So thanks so much to all for making this happen. With that, Mayor Marty Walsh. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and I want to thank Brian and all the great work that's happening at the BPDA and the entire crew that's here today from the BPDA. Thank you very much. Related Beal, Bruce, thank you. Steve, thank you. I want to give a special shout out to Kim because we've worked on a lot of different projects together in the city, and thank you for your work, and thank you for always listening to the city of Boston and all of you, so thank you for that. Amrit, look forward to hearing you after I'm done. I think I'm bringing you up afterwards, so we'll get you up here, but thank you as well, and congratulations here. They were mentioned already, but Nick Collins, who does a lot of work keeping an eye on the park, making sure that the park continues to move forward, and the uses that are supposed to happen here. Eddie Flynn, who's going to be an incredible city councilor. Thank you, Eddie, as well. This is not Eddie's first time down the park. He's an activist in the community as well. So I want to thank you for your work. And I agree with Brian in assessing John Kavanaugh. Congratulations, John, on this. I know that we've talked a long time, so I want to thank you as well. We're excited to see what's happening in Raymond L. Flynn Marine Industrial Park. Just this year, obviously, Master Robotics, Reebok, America's Test Kitchen came to the park. Last week, Ginkgo Bioworks, another fast-growing tenant, celebrated their latest round of funding, which pushes their value to over $1 billion. There's a lot of exciting things happening right here in this park. There's a lot of work going on in this park, and a lot of people are earning a livelihood in this park. And today we're continuing this momentum by breaking ground on the first new building in Innovation Square. This building brings 122,000 square feet of research lab, and once completed, will bring 3,600 square feet of office space, boost 900 jobs. I am going to be sad, though, because as Brian gave the incredible history of the South Boston Waterfront here, and people, sailors and soldiers leaving these shores, protecting our country, this also, I think, was home to the largest ever snow farm in the history of the city. And in 2015, and I think the last flake of snow to melt on this was I think it was August 11th, and that's no exaggeration. And after the snow melted, we were left with about 36 tons of trash. So I want to thank you, John, for allowing us to use this. And also, in the last couple of years, this has been our backup spot. So I'm hoping we never see that type of snow again. But we're also excited now to welcome Mass Innovation Labs as Innovation Square's first tenant. Mass Innovation Labs is expanding their footprint in Boston, here in the square, and their other location is in Brighton Landing. Their presence here will spark interest and attract more businesses looking to set up and relocate here at Innovation Square. When I think about Boston, and you think about what's been happening in the city of Boston over the last bunch of years, but in particular the last 4 or 5 years, the diversity of our businesses that have been happening are incredible. And if you just look at the South Boston Waterfront alone, you take the industrial park and go down the other way, just in those areas, the diversity of businesses and also the diversity of uses that are coming to the park, and also the amount of people that are coming here to live here, it really is showing that as we grow the city, we're growing in a way where we're not depending on one type of industry. And that's what's really happening here today, is another industry which we know is here. We're going to continue to be a hub of innovation here in Boston, but also continue to diversify our businesses, so I'm excited about that. As we head into the new year, we're going to prepare to host the 2018 Bio International Convention here in June. We're excited to showcase developments like these, and we're excited to highlight new and growing companies contributing to Boston in thriving in life sciences. And we also have, coming in 2018, we have the U.S. Conference of Mayors coming to Boston, where we'll have mayors from all around the country. They're going to be in Boston for a week, and prior to that, we're going to have an international climate summit as well in Boston. So we'll have mayors from around the world in Boston in early June coming to our city. So this is all to add to what we have in our city. So again, I just want to thank Related Beal for their work and their dedication. I want to thank John and his group for the great work of putting this together. I want to thank the BPDA for their work and constantly working, being, I think in some cases, criticized wrongfully, underappreciated sometimes, but I certainly don't do that, and Brian doesn't do that on the great work they do. I want to welcome Mass Innovation Labs here to Innovation Square, and I want to bring up Amrit to say a few words.
Thank again, everybody. I first want to thank everybody at Realty Beal, Kimberly, Steve, Mr. Beal himself, for the opportunity we have to come into Seaport and work on this project together. Mayor Walsh and Brian, this is a remarkable development, and I think it's the right direction that Boston needs to go in building a real ecosystem outside of Kendall Square, and we're very excited to be part of it. I want to use the opportunity to talk a little bit about what our company does and who we are. We have a very lofty name, Mass Innovation Labs, and it may not be apparent what we actually do. We are a research and development center working on the next generation of helping companies cure diseases effectively. Cancer research, infectious disease research, rare disease research. We take companies and help them develop the right infrastructure, programs, an actual way of operating to actually create the next generation of breakthroughs. We've been very fortunate in our history so far. Next month is actually a very large milestone for us. It's our 3 years. Seth is my co-founder over there. 3 years of being around. And in those 3 years, we've created over 1,000 jobs in Cambridge. Our startups that are part of our program have raised greater than $5 billion as part of our program. And we've been able to push forward cancer research, muscular dystrophy, tuberculosis, rare disease, as well as being in the forefront of gene editing. And we are extremely excited to bring that type of breakthrough in research and development to this area. I myself, I'm a native of the area. I grew up in Cambridge. I live in Boston, and it's wonderful to be part of this ecosystem. You know, a long time ago, I thought about moving outside of Boston as a young man, and it turned out in my industry, this is the best place to be. You know, the Innovation Square project started off for us months and months ago when we were asked to come in and talk to Steve. And he shared his vision of what Related Beal was going to do and why this was the right location for innovation in terms of biotechnology. And after weeks of discussing it internally and doing the economic analysis ourselves, it became remarkably apparent that this was the right direction for us. We have a location in Kendall Square. We are in the middle of expanding this week 3 new buildings, but we're super excited about this one. We are doing research and development labs, and we're building a first-in-class in the country modular clinical manufacturing facility. Never been done before in this manner anywhere else, and we're very excited to bring this type of new advancement to the city of Boston. You know, we've been provided here the best talent, the best areas to fundraise, the best way of actually moving forward and developing cures for the next generation of diseases, and it's been remarkable, really. You know, one of the best things that we have an opportunity to do, about 50% of our clients are early stage companies. They're the 2 guys coming out of an academic lab that have an idea. They say, hey, I want to go cure cancer. I want to go and do something else. And we have a rare opportunity and a privilege, really, to be able to nurture that group, help them figure out what they need to be successful, to actually hit milestones and move forward, and shepherd that forward. One of our companies this last week just became the 2nd fastest IPO in the history of Boston for a cancer company. They went from being 2 guys and an idea 2.5 years ago to raising over $400 million in a partnership with Merck and IPOing as of this week. And it's stories like that that really drive us forward in becoming passionate about making a change, not just because of the monetary purpose, but because it pushes cures forward. The largest thing you can do is accelerate that process, because 6 months earlier, 1 year earlier to a cure is millions of lives affected. And I think it's a remarkable thing. We're very, very proud to be part of this campus. We cannot wait for this building to go up, so please hurry up and get this done. But we are really, really fortunate to be the first tenant of this remarkable campus, and we only see this going onwards and upwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amrit. We really do look forward to a long and successful relationship. Before we close, I just want to have a shout out to our Related Beal team, Gentlemen in the back and women, particularly Craig Wood, who's been indispensable on this project, Andrew Hayes, David Chapman, both with the development team. On the construction side, Brian Radomski, Tony Coward, design, Stephen Ing. Thank you all. It's been a real pleasure to work with, and thank you all for coming here today and celebrating with us. Thank you.